Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the windy southwest. Sandy Park, breezy today, but glorious views across the top of the stands to the estuary. A perfect setting for this second Premiership Cup semi-final. Bath, of course, waiting for the winners after their victory at Kingston Park last night. An entertaining game. If this is half as good, we will all be winning. So to the teams, and the Chiefs looking strong. Couple of changes to the side that put 50 on sale in the quarter-final. Richard Capstick drafted into the second row. Daft Jenkins with Wales, of course. The pack feeling much like a first-choice selection. Yendall notching up 300 appearances for the club last week. And Josefa Scott, a new contract this week. The back row won't be taking too many prisoners. The other change is at 9, where Tom Cairns replaces Stu Townsend. And England's under-20 star, Ben Cohen at fly half. Just maybe the long-term solution to their conundrum at number 10. So for Ealing, Ben Ward tweaking his side for this semi-final, including handing a first start to fly half George Warboys, who spent his formative years with Bath. He will partner the former Wasps scrum half, Craig Hampson, at halfback, and try to fire a back line that contains the former Saints flyer Tom Collins. Keep an eye out for Toby Wilson at fullback, their top scorer in the Championship this season. Up front, Matt Cornish coming in at hooker for Mike Villemsa, former Saracens Academy man. Danny Cutmore included at lock, and Geordie Reid, long-time servant of Gloucester, now back in his second spell with Ealing, stationed on the open side. So good numbers in, as you'd expect, with a trophy not too far away. Victory today for the Chiefs would leave them playing right here next Sunday for the title. In the event of an Ealing win, we will all be gathering at the Rec next Friday evening. Slightly different approach taken by these two sides. Ealing, as we know, championship leaders, reigning championship champions, and flying the flag maybe for the last time for the tier below the Premiership in this competition. We have learnt there will be no championship involvement in this Premiership Cup next season. It's safe to say they're enjoying another good season. They're top of their league, 13 points clear of Bedford, with just one defeat in the campaign, and that by a single point to Doncaster. They're 5 from 7 in this Premiership Cup, beaten by Harlequins twice, but comfortable winners, really strong winners over Saints last weekend to book their semi-final place, even allowing for that red card, Matt Banahan. It was a strong display from Ealing. They were very good value for their victory. Yeah, really good, and really exciting to see them come down here and put another performance against a top Premiership team, and they want to put a stake in the ground and prove why they're here. But every game's a final for them at the moment. This is another opportunity for them. Yeah, shot window on a number of fronts. George Warboys, we don't know quite so much about. He's not played a great deal of rugby coming into this. This is his first start for Ealing today. A little different for Tom Collins, who of course scored a brace against his former club Northampton a week ago. Well used to this sort of stage, these kind of pressures. As we turn our attention to the hosts, Exeter using this competition really as a means of finding their confidence and some sort of form as well. The Premiership campaign has been one to forget. They're 9th, 6 points clear of Falcons at the bottom. Lost their first 8 league matches, remember. So barring a narrow defeat to Gloucester in round 7 of the Cup, they've been very good in this competition. Much too strong for Sale a week ago in the quarter-final. And in a season that's been tough to navigate for players and indeed for all their fervent supporters, this competition has been something of a ray of light, Flats. It's been reason to smile.
It has, and it's just changed a few Monday mornings for them, hasn't it? Turning up Monday after Monday, having lost games, narrowly or otherwise. Puts a completely different spin on things. Actually winning, getting the lads into that habit, scoring some tries, having some fun, dominating some teams physically, does help.
So strong support here this afternoon at Sandy Park, and they'll all be hoping this is something of a launch pad for the season's run-in. Need to find their feel-good factor again. They've got some quality in their ranks. They really do. Chris Chun's a part of the Wales Six Nations squad, not required this weekend for their game a little later on today against the Scots at Murrayfield. Joe James holding the whistle this afternoon. Richard Gordon and Callum Howard assisting him, and our TMO is Dan Jones. So as we mentioned, quite a strong breeze. Exeter in pink, getting things underway. And a brilliant take right at the outset from a man who has really dominated this competition to this point, Paul Brown-Bampo. 11 tries in the Premiership Cup. He's the top try scorer in the competition. And Chiefs immediately into their patterns. Dug out by Cairns, and Ethan Roots sent on his way towards that 22. To the gain line, through Vermeulen. Cairns again, here's Cohen. And wide over the top, clever ball from Hawkins to Brown-Bampo. This is Quenzo Blosa, drafted in a little late on. Scott Seo slated to start on the loose head for Chiefs. Pulled out yesterday. Tommy Wyatt accelerates, tries to get that offload over the top to Ethan Roots. Hasn't gone forwards in the eyes of the referee. Cairns breaks, and then it does dribble along the ground. And Ealing look to reboot through Toby Wilson, their fullback, their top try scorer this season. 9 tries in the championship.
They know they're outside the 22, so it's got to stay in field, this kick. Just one more carry inside to give themselves a better angle, get a couple more chasers underneath this and compete for it.
Hampson's kick, a very good one. It went forwards from Wyatt and into the arms of Ealing. Thumping tackle on that 10-metre line. And the momentum stemmed for the time being. Sigiriadis driven to the ground. And first break here from Francis Moore. Beyond the gain line for Ealing. Hampson looking for the width. Wilson. Dummies inside. Held in the tackle by Hawkins. He's gone in behind George Davis. Chance for Chiefs on the scramble.
Okay, use it, please. Okay, let go.
Hampson, 34 years old. Former Wasp man, measuring this up again nicely. And Brown-Bampo has it, or he had it. And then it's bounced forwards.
Firstly went back,
and Ealing
went forward on the floor.
will take the put in at the scrum.
No, I think Ealing will be really pleased with that. In the backfield, when they're defending multiple phases from Exeter, they're actually defending with a 14-1, so only one person in the backfield, so they know that Exeter are going to try and bash it, to put an extra number in the front line to front up and be strong. And Paul Bampo ran really strong there from Exeter, winning the kick-off, giving good platform, good carry on the edge. But Ealing, when they won that ball back, they just executed their exits up the pitch really well, then get the ball back here now, scrum inside Exeter's half.
He's had a big aggressive start, hasn't he?
Does he ever have anything?
Oh, look at the face on him, the nose on him and the forehead. That's what he's got. That's what he does. A couple of big carries, Ethan Roots as well.
Okay, guys.
Not very accurate necessarily yet, and the ball's gone in the air, Chiefs. This appears to be a tactic of Ealing, doesn't it? There's no momentum.
Balance, stability.
They'll cut their losses quick and put it up in the air.
Big milestone for him this afternoon, 100th appearance in Chiefs colours, and he's been invaluable in that back row, hasn't he, as you say, bringing every single week that abrasive edge. Gets over the gain line, gets in the faces of those defenders, asks big questions.
Set!
Scrum time, an area of some strength for the Chiefs, certainly on their own footing. Ealing holding their own here. And controlling it through David Bridge at the base, and Bridge breaks free. And here's Francis Moore again. Farah, the skipper, shipped onwards, and the dangerous feet of Tom Collins. Good possession here for Ealing. Zagiriadis. Man down in the midfield.
He's not in the way.
for Ealing at the moment. Down on his haunches, I think that might be Farah. Taken up in the meantime by Cutmore. And Medic on the field. The ball swung out in front of him. Bird Tulloch. One of their more dangerous attacking threats, and a little knock on here as well. So one more scrum, this time in the arms of the Exeter Chiefs.
Interesting to see Tom Collins in midfield there, Matt, so soon in the game, not hanging about on his wing, one of the more dangerous players on the field. Yeah, like we spoke about George Warboys in the start again, quick hands, his feet, working infield, just finding space. He's an evasive player. You can see the amount of defenders he's bringing. One time he'll make a line break, or somebody will come off with a shoulder for an offload. But it was an interesting setup of a scrum, but they're obviously looking at second phase, third phase strikes to where they can bend their Exeter defence, because they know they'll be structured off the first one, so they're looking to play around with the setup as Jacques Vermeulen just takes his shorts off and changes it.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
Got his lucky pants on.
Yeah, no problem.
They'll be looking to get Collins involved at every available turn, you would think.
I didn't think there was
In the meantime, a little bit of repair work to be done for the Ealing skipper.
I think with a player like Tom Collins, because he's not a big winger, he's nice and powerful, but he's quick, he's evasive, as Matt was saying. You almost can't, you tell me, Matt, but I always think if I'm defending against Ealing, I just want him in the game as little as possible. If I'm in the midfield and I'm a big heavy boy, big thick boy, I don't want him anywhere near me, so they almost can't overuse a player like him.
No, they can use him as a dummy line at some point. If they're using him this much in the first 15-20 minutes, or only 4.5 minutes into the game, how can they then use him as a decoy? Because it'll take two defenders to jump on him, and that's the evolution of this Ealing team. Do they have the ability to do that in their league, or do they just do the same thing repetitively over the game? So it'll be interesting how they use him throughout the game. If maybe he jumps up into the midfield and it goes across him because it's double defenders, but we can't forget how good the rest of the players in the back line are for Ealing also.
Time for the Chiefs pack to go to work. Important news this week from their perspective, the new contract for Josh Yosefa-Scott on their tight head. But they're getting the work out here at scrum time. Ealing have gone for them, and the ball is there to be played. The question is to whose possession it is, and Chiefs have just about done enough to squeeze it back, but huge pressure at scrum time, Flats.
I tell you what, there's a lot of times you would see that given as a penalty. It shouldn't be a penalty, because getting pushed backwards is not illegal. But when a scrum gets beaten up like that, crumbles like that, often the arm just goes up. But great scrummaging from Ealing. Chiefs survive. Yeah,
it's the picture that will linger, you suspect, in the mind of the referee, Joe James, which is to Ealing's advantage very much at this point.
Let's go, Craig. Thank you.
Hampson seeing plenty of space in the backfield. Tommy Wyatt across to cover it for Exeter. And it's he who looks skywards now. Claims it and is driven back in the tackle. Strong work from Farah.
OK, Tom, use it.
Yeah, Ealing are not too keen to play any rugby in their own half here, are they? You can understand it.
I also think they've got a bit of wind behind them, and I think it will be assist with the kick. So they're probably trying to manage the field position.
Cairns at the base for the Chiefs, in for Stu Townsend, who played in the quarter-final. That's gone straight out on the full. And we keep coming back to, it's just one error, of course, but to the kind of 9-10 conundrum with Exeter. They haven't really settled on their half-back pairing throughout the entirety of this season, Premiership or Prem Cup.
Well, no, I don't think it's just been this season either, has it? I think it's since Nick White left, it's never quite looked completely settled at 9 and 10. But actually, looking back to that Ealing box kick, look at the game. It's a 30-metre game. They put the ball back, literally, ball back in the hands of Exeter Chiefs. See if they make a mistake. And they have gained a lot of yardage there and then lost the ball.
Use it, please, Tom.
Good competition in the air from Richard Capstick. Deployed in the second row again. Seen quite frequently on the blind side too.
The ball here, you don't need to push it into them.
Bridge on the carry.
6 hands away. Thank you. Enough. Use it, please.
And once again, familiar pattern we're seeing here. Hampson
let go of him.
Probing via the boot, using the wind It's hovering just outside the 22, and White couldn't get up quite high enough. Here's Moore. Strong fend, gets it away to Bird Tulloch. Ball is kept alive, Zagiriadis has it.
Varnish, no arms in that.
No arms in the challenge from Tamati Tua. And penalty coming Ealing's way, eminently kickable.
Yeah, I think like, we go back to the point of what Ealing are doing, playing in the right areas of the pitch, putting pressure on, kicking the boxes back. They recognise there that where they get in the backfield, they get 15 and 9 extra, so they're trying to put that box kick on 9, even though they swapped quickly, but 15's on his own, no support because 9's so far away from him, and gives opportunity to win those 50-50s, and a no-arm tackle there. They're judged by the referee.
Yeah, good call.
Just when you were second.
Easy call, but a good call. No arms in that. Last night up in Newcastle played Bath. I think in the first minute of the game, Tom Carr-Smith, the Bath scrum half, went to put a box kick in around the middle of the field, and one of the Newcastle fans shouted, "Stop kicking it! Stop kicking it, Bath! So boring." Anyway, it's the first kick. I thought that was good trolling. 70-point game in the end.
Well, it's been effective for Ealing to this point, working the field position, earning the penalty, and George Warboys with the first points of the afternoon on his first start for Ealing today. He's been busy in the championship for Chinner this season. As we mentioned before, the number 10 who spent his early years in the Bath Academy. A couple of young 10s going head-to-head today. Ben Cohen has been doing great things for England under 20s. Matt, maybe he's somebody that Rob Baxter's looking to long-term in the absence of that kind of controlling fly half that they've lacked really since Joe Simmons, I guess, really, and Gareth Stinson before him.
Yeah, I think it's a long-term, but I still think they might need somebody, a senior player from another team or ex-international to come in and hold the fort for 2 years and keep Slady out wide, and so somebody he can learn off. And I think it's hard to have the weight of extra on your shoulders at such a young age.
This is true. It takes a while. There's a big old step up, of course, from 20s rugby to the senior game.
Okay, use it.
We're going to get to see an awful lot of the Hampson boot. Wyatt. Big chase from De Vere.
Tommy Wyatt's going to wish he was 9 feet tall by half-time, isn't he? He's catching that many balls.
Yendall.
No impact, tackles made.
Club legend. 300th game for Exeter last weekend. Cairns seeing some space in here. Little isolated. Ealing go to work on the ground. And Cairns does well to feed it back. His capstick. Sent wide by Cohen. Finding the edge of that Ealing defence. And Tua goes to ground on halfway. Capstick again. Inside channel probe. Josefa Scott is onto another offload. And Chiefs are looking fluid.
Advantage.
With an advantage now. Little dab over the top from Hawkins. That's gone forwards. Taken in by Wilson, and back we come.
Play the wrong side.
Lovely interplay there by the forwards. When you see Flats just looking at it where people are shooting out the line, offloading. So I thought Cairns was a bit risky with that snipe on by the Weather Rockies because it was slow and where you are on the pitch, and they needed to transfer pressure, but great interplay by the forwards.
Yeah, there was just a second there where you thought Cairns was isolated. Well, he was isolated, but his mates made it just in time. And you're right, if that Ealing defensive line, whether it moves up with line speed or it stands firm and is a bit more passive, if they're not unified, if they're not one line, Chiefs will pick them off because they've got heavy guys, Yendall, Roots, Vermeulen, trucking through heavy contact.
Just here, guys.
And they're skillful guys, they'll get that ball away, so they just need half a gap. They just need one player to promote himself in front of his mates, leave a weakness in that line, and there's damage.
Really good kick from Cohen, setting up this field position. Yendall takes aim, capstick goes up, and then it's tapped back by Ealing. And there's a little bit of a moment here for Kernahan to have to deal with. This is Chiefs' ball.
I just think that's a key set piece, and yes, they get the ball back because Ealing took it over. That's really, really good competition in the air from Danny Cutmore. Actually, the irony is, great competition. They've tapped it back, and they've now given Chiefs a scrum 5 metres out. So actually, you could argue Chiefs are in a better position than they were 5 metres ago.
Well, pre-game, Danny Cutmore went up to Alex Good and said, for a packet Haribo, I bet you I get 5 line-out steals, so that's one off the list.
That's one.
From Saracens Academy man, there's a number of those in the Ealing ranks this afternoon. And that Alex Good will know well. What can Chiefs do from here? Narrow short side with Hodge and Cohen covering it to the left. Ealing again attacking at the scrum. And Vermeulen has to act fast. Geordie Reid all over that for Ealing. And it's Reid who's claimed it.
Back foot, thank you.
Massive pressure at scrum time. Lefty Zigriadis on the loose head, giving Josh Yosefa-Scott a hell of a time the last couple of scrums. I'm pleased, I'm encouraged to see that not necessarily being penalised, because I'll repeat myself, getting done in the scrum is not illegal. Popping up, spinning it round, pulling is illegal. That isn't it. Yes, Zigriadis Ealing have gone a bit around the outside, but really he's gone around the outside because the man in front of him has crumbled. Great hustle from Geordie Reid. Let the boys have a contest without just blowing the whistle. It's good.
So Chiefs go again through Roots this time and try to work the maul. Not a lot of change out of this Ealing defence at the moment. Now some headway made as Yendall goes to ground. Capstick to Roots again. Trying to tie in those defenders, tight to the ruck. Now it comes, Yosefa-Scott playing with an advantage, the Chiefs. Back to the short side, Roots again. Good line speed from Ealing. Cairns having to hurry. He did well to get the ball away, but always with that advantage. And thinking about the quick tap here, Joe Hawkins.
I think Ealing have got to be smart. Too many penalties in this area. They'll be asking the referee what's Exeter will be asking the referee now about what's going to come next. But you can't give a team like Exeter this many opportunities. They're going to miss a few, but you can't give them this many.
But 10 metres out on a line out, it's worth getting up and competing. It arguably is anyway. But if Chiefs do start to build them all, it's actually worth thinking about being passive. Work your way through the middle of it. Almost let them over your line and get underneath that ball and turn the thing over and drop it out. So you almost want to contest really hard initially, but if you're losing that battle, be streetwise about it.
So the drive set up by Roots' gather. Here's Tua stepping. Cairns. And the runners come round the corner. Shunza shut down well by Bridge that time. Roots just need to inject a little bit more urgency onto the ball here, Chiefs. Getting stopped right on the gain line, and Wyatt's not the man really for the Tice exchanges. Put him in some space for sure, but Ealing are all over that. And they've won the ball back as a consequence.
I just think that while Chiefs are recycling the ball and retaining the ball efficiently and nicely without too much competition from Ealing on the ground, if you look at the guys that are getting the ball, it's kind of at a standstill, or if they're not, they're just sort of carrying on the angle that they came around the corner with, so it's quite predictable. Ethan Roots is an exceptional ball carrier, but he's standing and waiting for it, and the ball is there. It can come a bit quicker. Wyatt is an exceptional ball carrier, but he's standing and waiting for it, so there's not quite the oomph, there's not the momentum, there's not the speed off the ground with the ball that's going to cause the defence any real problems.
But we said just off mic, as Ali was talking about, teams want to be run, kick past. The space there was over the top. They had 15 people in the front line, not defending a big dead ball area in the 5 metres line behind them. Once you do that, then wingers start dropping on halves. It gives the defence have to sit a little bit wider. Little things like that. Exeter at the moment are just passing to one person. He has no option to tip on the inside or outside.
It's the eyes, isn't it? You see a flat line with space behind them like Matt just saw, and you've got someone like Henry Slade out there. He sees that 9 times out of 10 and they're causing problems. You just need someone to look up there.
We both got that wrong, both sides.
You think 15 minutes into a game, you want to be challenging the defence, making them think. You don't want to give them the easy option. This is the part of the game where they're 3-0 down, but they can chance it and make the defence question themselves later on in the game.
Patience, lads, yeah. Let's go.
It's that variety, isn't it? Just changing the picture, asking different questions at different moments. You see the same picture every time. You don't have to worry about the backfield. There is rather more prosaic issues to attend to right here, though, because this is a problem area for Chiefs. Ealing have gone hard in all the scrums to this point. They've won a free kick here as well.
Classic. Ealing didn't need to go hard in that. They just wanted to get safe ball, get the thing away, be rock solid. But because of what's happened to Chiefs in the last couple of scrums, they went in there with a point to prove. They wanted not to get done. They wanted to assert themselves, but they've got to wait till the ball's in.
Would that be a tactical smartness there? With give a free kick, you get the ball back off this line out, or you give away a penalty at a scrum, they have the line out.
You think they're thinking that far ahead, mate? They're not. They're thinking about their next breath.
I'm on the wing thinking that they should just give away a free kick here. We get the line out.
Yeah, you're giving them too much credit. That was the opposite of tactical.
It's a chess match for some, not necessarily for everybody. Into the midfield comes Tua.
He just missed out on a Geordie Reid special there, didn't he? Got lucky.
Hawkins over the top from Cohen, finding Hodge. Hodge drives it forwards, and this is an interesting chase. In the end, it pops up smartly for Collins, who dots down, and Ealing survive again. They're doing a good job here of absorbing a lot of pressure inside their 22, inside really the kind of 30-odd metres out from their try line.
They are, but the thinking there for Chiefs will be, at least we got the ball wide to Josh Hodge, one of the best runners on the field. It didn't quite work out, sure, but it's just, again, it's something else introduced to the minds of the defenders that will just mean that their head's on a pivot next time, and maybe there's a bit more space between defenders, they're less narrow.
Interesting option on the kick from Warboy, straight down the middle, inviting Exeter onto them, and that was Hawkins' ball to Tua. The centres combining nicely. The offload, a good one. Josefa Scott on the move. Cairns, slightly scrappy delivery. And Fizilau, what a step! Provides the space for Tua. That's gone backwards from Ealing, and they're in possession of the ball now. And once again, Exeter within sight of the try line, managing to fluff their lines. So much promise in that move, certainly after the Fizilau footwork.
That was a beautiful bit of movement by Fizilau, a player that we talk about a lot, but I sometimes wonder if we don't quite talk about him enough. He's only 21. He's a fantastic player. This is a gorgeous bit of movement, that at full speed. Farah's absolutely stitched up, and unfortunately the offload was never on for Tua. Didn't need throwing, but what a bit of movement from a big fellow.
So Chiefs 3 entries now inside the Ealing 22. No points to show for it. Can they change that here? Tua wrestling towards that 22. Roots again. Cairns, Josefa Scott, and dug through by Cohen. That might just beat everybody into touch. It does. And Ealing will have the line out deep in their 22.
You see the guys coming around the corner, that the ball is off the ground quicker, but actually the options that Tom Cairns is hitting aren't that threatening. So Ethan Root's a great ball carrier, know that, but you look at Josefa Scott and the guys around him, it's not really a threat. The kick's quite a nice one because Ealing come up and leave a hole behind, but actually they're not really selling any defenders in there. There's not enough urgency to get around the corner, not just from him, all of them.
Yeah, and I've just seen on the other side, Ealing have done a lot of defending at the moment, and we spoke earlier, probably 10 minutes ago, about how their line has to keep coming up with integrity and staying together, and people not flying up and backwards. And if they are running as a single person, somebody jumps out, it might look like there's an opportunity, but if Exeter have to come around and give them options and variety, if that defence is going to give those pictures.
Ealing line out has functioned nicely here. Hampson bringing in Farah. And a rather more controlled situation for Hampson to work off. Sends it up. Collins on the chase. Branbampo waits. Takes it well, but just a little bit of obstruction there from the Chiefs, and that's Ethan Roots into the lane. We know the refs are very hot on the escort runners these days.
That's now, those penalties are sometimes classed as coach killers now, because you have full control of where you're running, and you're just piggybacking a team all the way up into your own half when you think how many opportunities Exeter had to score, and now they could be defending just outside their 22 if the phase 1 to 3 go well here for Ealing.
He didn't change line, and he didn't
hold the mark, please,
maybe slow down a bit. That
Maybe
was
that's his top speed.
Alex, I need you to hold the mark and they'll set up a gap. Thank you.
Those are the margins, aren't they? I mean, the refs are making these split-second decisions. If you do see a player slowing up in a slightly unnatural fashion,
and I think
the whistle is blown.
Yeah, some of them are marginal.
Penalty advantage here for Ealing, and Moore
Moore's formed.
trying to make way. Reed.
You have an advantage.
I say a little disappointing to see the dreadlocks gone.
Yeah, me too.
That looked forward to me, but Wilson's away through the hole. The support line is good. Hampson is in under the post, or near to them anyway. And if that pass is allowed to stand, Ealing have struck first here at Sandy Park.
Yeah, we said that when you first phase, they'll be taking that big direct line, and they were setting them up second and third phase. Geordie Reid comes round the corner, hands, quick hands there by George Ward, boys. I think that's flat, because he's standing still.
Yeah.
And we'll listen to the ref's mic.
Forward that.
Yeah, I understand.
I thought flat when you said it then, Matt, but actually watching that one,
Everything looks worse in slow-mo.
Okay. I'm going to try my best. Yeah, please do. Thank you.
great line, wasn't it, from Toby Wilson?
As far as we understand it, TMO's not looking at that. The try's standing, and Warboys, who created it, with the pass that may just have been a little questionable,
hands are going backwards,
slotted the two, and Ealing are leading by 10 points to 0.
I think we'll agree to disagree. Everyone gets away with one. There's a long time left for Exeter to make up for that. But actually, fantastic line from Wilson. It was the right pass. I just think it went forward, but we'll move on. Get on with our lives.
Use it, please.
Really good restart take that from Ealing, from Danny Cutmore. They're awkward, though, especially with a bit of wind about, and it was important.
There's Wyatt, snared by Collins. Comparing the contrast, the opportunities these sides have created and the execution. Ealing really one meaningful chance, they buried it. Chiefs have had 2 or 3, and they've come up empty-handed to this point. Cairns' kick. Branbampo strides forwards, offloads beautifully. Cohen is there. Fizzilau. Dive pass for Hawkins. Width. Hodge. Back into the traffic. Bloser.
Tackle! Tackle! No, Rob.
Cohen. Oh, brilliant from Vermeulen. Battering his way forwards. Wilson had to be brave, and brave he was. This is Hawkins again. Delay on the pass for Roots. Chiefs beginning to tick. Can they convert? That's a line. That's a proper line from Greg Fizzilau. And now Wyatt attacks. And the Chiefs are just looking more direct and much more threatening as a consequence. Roots again, tireless in the carry. Yendall for company. They're within 6 metres. Cairns burrowing in there. Capstick to Fizzilau. They're keeping him on a short leash now, Ealing. Vermeulen, who began all of this. Cairns. Ealing's line speed defensively very, very strong. And Kernahan is effecting the choke tackle here. Not quite long enough for the call of Moore. They've worked it to Hodge, and Hodge is in. And Exeter finally make good on their pressure, make good on their territory.
The pressure finally tells for Exeter Chiefs, and it's that man, Josh Hodge, the immediate beneficiary. But actually, when you saw Paul Brambambo taking that box kick unopposed, no one from Ealing got anywhere near it. They all left it to someone else. The missed tackle from Davis in midfield, the break from Vermeulen. What a horrible bloke he looks to tackle. Actually, all told, there was some punishing work from Ethan Roots. A killer line from Greg Fizzilau. Power tells, but Ealing really, it's a tale of no one getting up for a ball, a missed tackle in midfield, landing themselves in trouble, but Chiefs still had to finish it.
On the flip side of it, it's probably the first time we've seen Exeter running on pace, as you've been talking in the first 26 minutes, running on pace with multiple options. We probably saw 3 interplays between forwards with a tip running at pace. That's the first time they've done it, and what they're doing is attracting outside defenders jamming in, which creates a mismatch on the edge in the end.
Josh Hodge, the top point scorer in the competition. That's his 8th try in the Premiership Cup. 20 points last Saturday against Sale, and on target here to drag Exeter back into contention. Really stung into life, you feel. That last 5 minutes has looked very different from a Chiefs perspective, and Hodge is off again. And here's Yendall. They look transformed at the moment, Chiefs. It's a question really of whether they can sustain this sort of intensity.
Yeah, I wonder what was said under the posts after Ealing scored and the message coming in. But last week when Ealing played Northampton, they scored twice early and then they conceded straight away. So it's a good mindset challenge for them to see how they start the game well and how they can maintain staying on top. But Exeter have just got straight back into this game now.
Use it, Tom.
In trots Wilson. Looked to have gone forwards and then taken in by Collins. Chiefs anyway have the ball through Bloser.
Just a knock-on advantage.
Roots, who's looked a big presence already today.
Advantage over from the knock.
Yendall. Cohen to Yosefa Scott. Bobby De Vere with the tackle for Ealing. Here's Wyatt. A word in a moment or two with Ben Ward, the Ealing Director of Rugby. Get his thoughts on proceedings to this point as we see how this attack unfolds from Exeter. Cohen to Yendall.
Use it!
Vermeulen from a standing start. And these rucks not producing a great deal, so back to the boots. Wilson charging in and dominating the airspace. Brown Bampo was there. It's fallen for Fizzle out.
He was there. He's a good couple of metres offside when he set off. Seems to have been missed.
Cohen to Wyatt, looking to find that width, and Hawkins is shut down low. Great work from Bird Tulloch.
Still under the knock-on advantage, boys. The ball's in the knock-on. Okay, no advantage, we'll go back.
And back we come for a knock-on advantage over the other side of the field.
Just seeing a lot of work by Exeter's forwards, you say, Flats, that there's a lot of them walking off the ball. And it's hard to get into an attacking shape when people aren't getting back quick enough and you're waiting for one person to do it. Ethan Roots, he must be double the amount of carries to anybody else in the forward pack because he keeps stepping up, but he's just by himself a lot. And they just need to either find a way to set up and play a bit more field position to get a bit more juice in the legs for the final 10 minutes.
You also want someone like him arriving to the line, yes, ball in hand, but with an option or two either side of him, so it's not so simple for the defence to calculate. So I know he's hard to tackle and he's hard work, but he's much harder when you're second-guessing yourself because he might tip the ball in or out. So you want him arriving at the line with options. Ealing seem to be cutting their losses sooner. 1 or 2 phases where they're not making ground, they'll boot the thing. Chiefs want to go through 6, 7, 8 before they kick it, and yeah, it's more tiring for both sides.
Let's have a word with Ben Ward, Ealing Director of Rugby. Ben, are you seeing the game plan that you hatched being carried out here? How have you assessed the opening half hour or so?
Yeah, very similar to what you just said there. We probably want to conserve our energy. We know they've got some really big power runners and they probably want to go through between the 15s. We want to get that ball into the 15s and play at pace, and we've just lost a couple of aerial battles there, which has meant that we've been defending for more than what we'd want to. On the flip side, we've been pretty clinical when we have got up the field. Yeah,
defending rather more than you would have liked, but nevertheless defending very stoutly for the most part.
Yeah, look, they've got some big runners. We've got to get some double tackles. We've got to slow them down and make sure we roll out the way and not give many easy access to our 22. And on the flip side, if we can get some turnovers, though, I really do feel we can play at pace and transition really quickly.
Yeah, certainly seems that way. Thanks so much for your time, Ben.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Sometimes in the Premiership Cup, we see Championship sides playing more kind of vaunted opposition, if you want to put it that way. Premiership opposition, they've taken a while to settle. Not really the case with Ealing today. They've looked very much at home, but now they're being stretched by Brown Bampo. threatening to get through as he heads towards that 22. Here's Wyatt, freeing the arms up, gets the offload away. Fizzleau is there.
Still in. No, it's not in.
Hodge to Capstick. Cairns fires it out this time to Josefa Scott. Now then, Yendor, the ribs opened up.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
And it was an invitation that Francis Moore rather enjoyed. Cairns again. Hawkins. Roots. Clears it away for Tua. And was that a knock-on initially from Bobby De Vere? It was. And that looks like it's going to be a Chief scrum just inside the Ealing 22.
I saw something from him on the last scrum. It was a reset, actually, while we were talking to Ben Ward. And you just watch this little reset. Keep your eyes on Ethan Roots here, if it's the right one. Just a little reset. Watch him here at number 6. There, that little dig, just so you know, that is unbelievably annoying. Up in the ribs, just gets under the chin. He's just letting Zigriadis know that he's there. And that is deliberately annoying. I like that. It's exactly what I want from my flankers. Gone are the days where you could do anything really awful, but just get on someone's nerves. Perfect.
It's very much in the job description, isn't it?
Yeah.
Carrying out instructions. It feels like a pretty natural thing for Ethan Roos to do. Been around the block a little bit, of course. This time last year, he was part of the Six Nations campaign. Man of the match on his debut, and then disappeared from view in something of a hurry. Not involved in the Autumn Nations series or the current campaign, but invaluable to the Chiefs.
Having said that, back a few years ago, Ali, there was one prop that we used to play against. There was and we would speak in the week before the game and say the only rule is nobody winds him up. Nobody. Julian White, who played for Leicester Tigers, no one take the mickey, no one say a word, because when he gets angry, iron fists. We struggle.
Shunza leaping highest for Exeter. This looks like a good platform for the Chiefs. And the rumble is on. Yendel with the ball. Ealing in reverse. And struggling to contain the weight of this Exeter power drive. Brown Bampo's in there as well now. And still they move. Yendel closing in and over. It's a penalty try. That might not please Jack Yendel, because I think he thought that was his. Regardless, 7 points banked, and Chiefs moving into the lead.
And it'll be a yellow card for somebody. Someone has to go. Danny Cutmore, I think, is gone. Number 5.
I just thought that water break there really, when we were speaking about how Exeter were slowing down and everything, and they just had a bit of a rocket between each other, and you just see from that they've definitely had a word to each other from the 22 to drive from that all the way to 4 or 5 metres out. They've definitely had a word with each other and how against 14 men of Ealing, how can they manage this next 6 minutes?
That is a long way out to be driven over. So it's really, really good discipline from Exeter to stay on their feet, not tumble over as we so often see, and lose their balance. Great coaching, great discipline. But actually what happens is when you're 20 odd metres out, you don't defend it always as ferociously as you do if you're 5 metres out, because you think, well, they won't drive us over from here. So actually you start off at 50% or 70%, not full chat in defence, and you pay the price.
Well, they're in front, Exeter, for the first time in the match, and Cutmore will play no further part in this first 40 minutes. Into the bin for the Ealing lock. There's an interested party. Mani Fewa-Boso making his way back from shoulder surgery, rather belatedly.
Part of the game we play sometimes, but just imagine him on the wing, Hodge at 15, and Brown Bampo on the other wing.
They've got some firepower in their back three for sure, and the boot of Hodge is massive. Kept it in field as well. This is Wilson.
Retreat. Always inside.
Wyatt. Some distance, haven't they, these boys from the back?
Eyes up there, lads. Work great.
Hampson
Keep retreating.
looking to return it with some interest.
And retreat.
I like this game.
Oh, there's the error. And that's what Exeter were waiting for. And indeed, almost everybody inside Sandy Park as well. The long-range kicking game seems rather pointless as it's taking place. And then you see this, and you realise that actually there is an end game.
Oh, you poor bloke. He's less sympathetic, look.
It's just
horrible moment for him.
Yeah, no comment on that.
You don't need to. You don't commentate over that, do you? He's dropped it.
I was enjoying the little battle. I was waiting for somebody to like spark it up and run to the middle of the midfield or chip it over the top, because when it's long like that, you end up just standing in the middle of the forwards and create a proper straight line.
Like we did the last one. Let's go.
Good bit of shuttling.
Are they going to scrum with 8 or are they going to scrum with 7 flats?
Well, their scrum's been pretty strong, so I don't suppose they're terribly worried about it. And Chiefs did just maul them over from 20 metres out. I don't think they're going to scrum them from 25.
No 8.
Yeah, no 8 for this one, with Cutmore in the bin, remember. Time for the Chiefs to try to make this numerical advantage count. They've just struggled to settle first time.
We can do better than that. All 6, we can do better than that.
Did Ealing give away a free kick on purpose?
Don't pull him towards you.
No such thing. No one's ever done that.
Because you can't choose it again.
It is the thing. I mean, you know, if they could accidentally on purpose engage a bit early, lose a bit of balance, they haven't got a scrummage, have they?
Exactly.
This is a perfect example of it, isn't it?
This would be, inverted commas, good time to do it. There isn't one. It'd be a bad time, but you know.
Just see the cynicism levels in the Ealing 8 or 7 as they are.
It's so Matt Banahan to be that cynical, isn't it? Not like you and me. They're not doing it.
Holding firm here, holding the 8 men of Exeter. Fizzalara from the base, Tua on a short line. And the ball stripped, but Cairns recovers. His roots again. Oh! Crossing.
Takes the paternal tackle and goes back around the back of it.
Just not quite connected. Was it Hawkins that went in front of Ethan Roots then?
Yeah, tad early on it. It was on though. Just let him, give him time to get out. He's so early on it. If you give a short ball and they're both genuine lines, the ball out the back, they'd have walked in to the right-hand corner for a try there. So they just got to be a bit patient.
So does Hawkins overrun that, or should Ethan Roots have given it to him or given the ball to him or at the back sooner?
Joe Hawkins overrun that massively. He's got to make sure he stays outside the defender that's in front of him and really try and fix those two, especially off turnover.
Interesting case, Joe Hawkins. Whispers that he might be looking at a move back to Wales. Former international, of course, and hasn't really found his place in this Chiefs lineup. Not played at all in the opening part of the season, and very much out of favour, but has found a way in recent weeks via the Premiership Cup and beginning to string together some imposing performances.
Okay, use it, please.
Hampson. Hodge up, tap back to Yendall. His roots in that 5-metre channel. And the turnover affected by Kernahan, but not legally in the eyes of Joe James.
The man on the other side.
It's just as we're on our way to a line out, Ealing getting a bit over exuberant at the breakdown. As we're on the way to this line out, I was just watching Jack Yendall and thinking, what is it, his 301st game, is it this? Every player at every level has a shocker, everyone.
More or less.
How many shockers do you think he's had in 301 games? I honestly can't remember one. The odd mistake, but I can't remember him having anything less than a 7.5 out of 10 in all the years I've been watching him.
And
he's a really nice bloke as well.
Well, there we go. But that's the epitome, isn't it, of resilience. One club man, and there's a reason why somebody plays 300 times for a club. Entirely dependable, and somebody you're going to get 100% out of every single week. Been invaluable. Oh dear,
did not want to see that.
Well, it's happened before here. The Exeter Cheeks. Here's Yendall.
Well, I'll take it back. That was a pretty average carry, actually.
7 out of 10.
Terrible bloke. Short ball for Vermeulen. And it was well policed, actually, by De Vere, and Ealing have worked really hard on the ground, and they've come up with the penalty. David Bridge receiving the congratulations of his teammates at a critical moment, just when Exeter looked to be cranking it through the gears. De Vere's tackle really important, and then Bridge went straight to work.
Really important, because it was an aggressive shot on Vermeulen. Didn't knock him backwards, but knocked him off track sideways. Really, really good shot, and Bridge did a nice job in there because there was some resistance. He was hit hard, pulled hard, dug in, good position, and I agree, Ali. I think that was probably a very, very important moment. They would not have wanted Chiefs to score just before the whistle.
Yeah, just seeing that, again, Chiefs, rest of the forwards, as we see the two reserve props warming up down the side of the pitch, maybe entering in the second half. They're just walking on the far side, and even though Yandel gets around the corner by himself, there's nobody on that next phase coming around quick enough, so it wouldn't surprise me if they make the substitution at half-time to get some fresh props on.
Into the red at the end of this first half. Ealing playing with 14, and the ball falling for Yandel. And
lost forward, mate. Oh, not half-time. Shoulder in the forwards. Air. Yeah. Guys, contact in the air causes him to disrupt it. I've just lost you there, mate, sorry.
Disruption in the
contact in the air causes him to lose the ball.
Should we have a go? Have a go? Let's have a go
here.
Okay, well, you can hear and feel the positive mindset from Ealing.
If you ever wondered what, how these guys, the comms, like the communication of elite players.
Just missed touch.
Yes, it is, yes.
I'm glad he went for it. He went for the full Henry
can put an end to this first half. It is delicately balanced.
Sorry for the confusion.
And Ealing have acquitted themselves extremely well. They started much the stronger. Craig Hampson's try might be debated in these parts for a little while on account of the pass that led to the opening for Toby Wilson. But they went 10-0 in front. Exeter have responded strongly through Josh Hodge and a penalty try. And half-time here at Sandy Park in the semi-final. Exeter 14, Ealing 10. Thank you, Hugo. Ealing still with a handful of minutes to navigate without Danny Cutmore, the man who was sent to the sin bin when Exeter scored their penalty try. And the Chiefs looking to close this one out and book themselves a place in the final, which, if they were to do that, would be held here on Sunday against Bath.
Okay, use it.
Lacking in clinical execution in the opening 20 minutes, certainly the Chiefs, and Ealing much the better of the two sides at the start. Took their chance well, and they've carried hard. Exeter looking to find an extra gear defensively, just to
use it, please.
Stem the flow of possession, push their opposition back behind the gain line. Hampson has worked the touch lines pretty effectively to this point. Wyatt bounces off the challenge of Kernahan, so too Geordie Reid, still going. Cohen, flattened. Great tackle from Francis Moore, and the ball, did that go forwards? Ealing
turnover's good, we'll come back for the knock on here.
Gather it in, it's been knocked on by Chiefs, so Ealing the beneficiaries, and that tackle from Francis Moore just coming out of nowhere as far as Ben Cohen was concerned.
Yeah, it was good graft, that, wasn't it? Actually, Wyatt did really well, evaded a few tackles and just got himself to a point where he could get rid of the ball once somebody got hold of him, but yeah, did not see that coming.
Yeah, another of those who graduated from the Saracens Academy, 22 years old. Scored 7 tries for Ealing in total this season, so he's been a significant presence in their midfield. And he's looked dangerous, ball in hand.
Crouch! Bind! You're all re-engaged there, fellas. Come on. I know you didn't find a bind, but we need more space before we even get there. Come on.
Here we go, boys.
So this scrum battle remains an intriguing one. It didn't really go Chiefs' way in the first 40 minutes. Ealing found a few areas to attack and went hard at it, Flats.
There are times like that where I think a reset is reasonable, perfectly reasonable, but if the lads are kind of pre-engaged and you haven't got a buy-in, well, can you get one and can we carry on? And it's almost like, well, just because your body position and everything isn't perfect, can we just crack on, adapt and deal with it? I think that's the referee will be within his rights there to say, just grab a bit of jersey and we'll get on with it.
Just give it a free kick.
Hampson to Moore. Bird Tulloch off the deck to Hampson. Wilson. Kernahan having to deal with Fizzle out. Zagiriadis. Good counter-ruck from Chiefs, but picked up quickly by Hampson. And Warboys is on the move before Fizzle is there again. He's everywhere at the moment. But Tulloch lined up and smacked to the ground by Roots.
Got him too, isn't he? Nailed him.
He's in trouble. Bird Tulloch taking a while to get to his feet. Hampson in the meantime for Warboys. Oh, lovely line from Geordie Reid. Couldn't quite offload to Moore. Hampson, was that
he's playing the
illegal on the part of Roots?
No, new ball's lifted. Ball's lifted.
He's lifted it out, so it was fair game, but it's gone forwards off the Exeter flanker, and this was a proper shot.
Jimmy nailed him right in the guts.
I didn't see it that way.
Beautiful.
Textbook wrap, shoulder, height, hinge.
Not a tackle, not a natural tackle.
The biggest compliment. The biggest compliment I'd pay that tackle is it looks like Sam Underhill tackle.
Yeah.
The best in the business. Brutal.
It was perfect timing, wasn't it? Let's have a word with Ross McMillan, who's part of the coaching setup for the Exeter Chiefs, of course. Ross, first of all, your appreciation of Ethan Roots.
Yeah, he talked before the game about wanting to make it a bad day for Ealing Trailfinders players in terms of his physicality, and just proved himself right there.
So he showed up well. There's been a number of decent carries up the guts, if you could put it that way. But are you wanting a little more purpose and direction in the carrying from the Chiefs? The discussion in commentary seems to be it's there, we're just not quite seeing it enough. Is that fair?
Yeah, absolutely, and obviously Ealing Trailfinders, they've got a way in which they're trying to tackle and kind of surviving and around it, kind of breaking their posture to kind of landing around our breakdown, slowing our kind of breakdown around them. So we touched on that at half-time. I'm more interested actually around Flax's comment around actually getting on with scrums and actually finding a way when props are kind of messing around. I completely agree. We've got to get out of this habit of having lads being able to just want everything their own way. So Flats, I'm on your side, mate.
There's only two of us. You, me and my dad, I think.
Hey, absolutely. All those fellas start having a drink now, watching the scrum contest. At least we're having a contest, and fair play, Ealing, they're coming with it. So long may it continue.
Yeah, no question about that. They went hard at you in the scrum, didn't they, in the early stages? Certainly. You think you've gone some way to fixing that?
Yeah, they've got a certain style in there. Lucy's doing a pretty good job and kind of creating a little angle for himself, and we've got to adjust to that, and fair play, they're coming with a contest, and that's all we asked for. We actually want contest-driven scrums, and no, fair play to them.
Brilliant. Thanks for your time, Ross.
Cheers, fellas. Cheers, Flats.
So a change at fly half for Ealing. Craig Willis is on in place of George Warboys, and they might just be opening things up here a little bit. Cutmore back on the field. And so restored to 15 men. Bird Tulloch upended again. Those ribs aren't going to be feeling any better after that either. Collins nailed, got it away to Reid though. And there's a tiny bit of room for Hampson. And now De Vere, and they're approaching the 22. This is good from Ealing. Willis. Former Newcastle player in the Premiership, of course, Craig Willis. Out it comes from Hampson. Bird Tulloch back on his feet happily.
Well, he got rid of that quick, didn't he? Wasn't taking that to the line.
Not with the player on the wrong side.
Might just be thinking twice for the next few minutes. Hampson with the show and go and the offload. And here is Bird Tulloch. Off the floor and under the posts. All credit to the Ealing outside centre. He's taken some fearful shots today, but he was on hand for this. Hampson with the bust, Bird Tulloch with the finish.
And it was just, in my mind, I was thinking, do you know what? Ealing are being a little bit playing by numbers here. Quenzo Bloser just moves out of the way, leaves the hole for Craig Hampson at 9. Super sharp from Hampson. A defensive error from Exeter Chiefs, but you still got to capitalise on that. And just when I thought Ealing needed to do a bit more than go through the motions, bang, straight through the middle, and that man recovered from a few big shots to leg it in. Really, really nicely done.
Yeah, no, exciting times now, really into a game now. How challenging Exeter now with a sub coming on for them. Marcus Street, is that coming on? Probably what they need, a bit more legs in it, but yeah, it's just moving off the pass. We all get taught, don't move until the ball's gone in front of you. Blow going way too early, especially when they're comfortable. They slowed the ball down, they were in control. Seems such an easy out.
Well, a terrific try for Bird Tulloch. His 11th in all this season for his club, 6th in the Premiership Cup.
But also, when you look at Blows to move away and leave that hole for Hampson at that breakdown that led to the try, the first defender, so he's the first defender, the first one out. It's not his job anyway. He's too far away. There's too big a gap between him and the breakdown anyway. And that first defender, that first guard by the defender, never chases a running 9 because he can put the ball back inside into that hole then. It's actually the second defender that wants to take the 9. So defensively, they were miles off there, Chiefs.
So some other changes have been made as well. Chris Chunza coming off for Exeter, replaced by Franco Molina, the Argentine international. We mentioned Marcus Street for Josh Yosefa-Scott on the tight head, and a couple of new props for Ealing, Kyle White and B. Allo on at loose head and tight head respectively. Allo, who's had a storied history from Wasps to, well, initially Worcester to Wasps to Racing, and a short spell with Sarries as well, but here he is for Ealing, operating in that front row. Hampson caught by Vermeulen.
You're fine. Not you. Not you.
But the scrum penalty awarded.
It's not you.
Vermeulen questioning that decision. He thought he was legal. He was.
But not you, not you, not you.
It's Marcus Street, I think, on the far side. I mean, Ethan Roots stand up, but he's not really in trouble for that. Or maybe he was. Maybe Ethan Roots came off too early. The referee's arm went up before Marcus Street stood up. I think his arm was up earlier than that.
Use the line.
Also, Roots can't scrum on the opposite prop either.
No. If you get away with it, have a go, but you're not meant to.
So 4 straight penalties conceded by the Chiefs now, and Ealing warming to their theme, and there again is the bruising run of Francis Moore. Bridge inside that 22, width on the left-hand side of the field, and progress made as well. Bridge again to within 6 or 7 metres. Cornish rumbles on.
Your player pushes him back in.
Bridge waiting. De Vere waiting. So too Cutmore. It's for Bridge.
No, not with the man they're on side.
And the ruck is formed again. This is Allo. Huge man. Drives to within 4 metres. Cornish looking for support.
All except for one player. Ealing are very narrow here. Kernahan's not unmarked, but he's in a lot of space. Ealing choosing to go direct. Every other defender is within about 15 metres, except the 2 wingers. Every other attacker, sorry, very, very narrow.
No sign of any width being put on it at this stage. Intent on keeping it tight till now. And they pull the trigger. Willis, though, thumped by Roots, who is crashing into players left, right and centre at the moment. A huge intervention because Kernahan was waiting for it. Wide on the outside.
No left.
They've done
now
well
on the
to
far
recycle
side,
the ball.
Okay,
well, you got Tom Collins on the left. He's marked effectively in a bit of space, but he's got Cairns marking him a little 9. Tom Collins not too tall himself, but more experienced on those crossfield kicks, of course. They have options, Ealing.
Jack, don't pull him in, please.
But again, it's that extra width they're creating. That 15 has to come in the defensive line. If they get an advantage, there's that space behind in the big dead ball area.
Ball's underneath.
Still intent on these carries close to the ruck. And they are moving forwards incrementally. Capstick with another tackle for Exeter, trying to turn this into a dogfight here.
And use it.
They are moving forwards, but it's exhausting. And every time this happens and you don't make a load of ground, you open yourself up to the jackal threat.
Oh, there it's been stolen. And Fizzelau feeds it out, and Hawkins sets it free. Left-footed for Hodge. Back goes Wilson. Hodge gaining on him with every yard. And Wilson does well.
He did really well then. I thought he was toast then. Brilliant, loads and loads of great clearance, loads of ground made by Exeter Chiefs. When Hawkins dropped it onto his left foot, I wondered if it looked that natural, but it was a really good kick. But again, every one of those pick and goes that you open yourself up. Look at that, didn't look that natural, did it? Looked like a 1970s goalkeeper, that, dropping it onto the left, chuck it up in the air first. Really good kick, though.
Very effective, and given the counter opportunities, they'll be delighted that it worked out, but now they've lost possession in the midfield, and Ealing are back on the ball.
It's actually loose, that, from Ben Cohen at 10. I know he didn't want man and ball, but he got it anyway, and he's just got to take the shot there and keep hold of the ball, I think.
50-22. No.
Bridge sets it up, Hampson sends it over the top. Wyatt recognises he's got to get his skates on here, and Collins is onto him. Brown Bampo takes it. 90 metres to find here, but the cover is good from Ealing.
Yeah, second word you said, Cohen's just got to take that. Craig Willis did really well to rush, put loads of pressure on for that chuck down, but the pressure knocks on through your team. And Exeter did really well turning over under their post. That great kick by Hawkins to get down this field, and now they gave up all that yards to get right back to where they are now.
Game's really opened up though, isn't it? Oh dear. Ken's just falling off balance, but the kick was perfectly contestable, and it's been taken in by Wilson. Allo wants it, and he's going to have Roots on top of him, and Roots is digging in there trying to secure the jackal, but he's gone beyond the ball in the eyes of Joe James.
Hands to floor.
And another penalty goes against the Chiefs.
Number 6, hands to floor first.
That's a 9 now in total across 53 minutes. It's a creeping figure that will just begin to concern the home side.
6, if I've got time, I'll always try to. I just didn't have the time now. Yes, thank you.
Good initial contact. The hands do look to just scrape along the floor, don't they?
Lads, 1 and 2, replacement.
I'll tell you what's difficult is when a player goes to ground and keeps the ball tight to his chest. If you're going straight in over the top of the ball, it's on some occasions you think it's almost impossible not to hit the floor in some regard.
Yeah.
And of course it's instantaneous and so difficult to spot. That's why we've got to trust the officials on the grounds. A couple of changes been made here. Yendel's come off, replaced by Dan Frost, amongst 1 or 2 others. We'll update you on in a moment or two. Billy Keast for Quenzo Blosa on the loose head as well for Exeter. Willis trying to get it away. Tidied here by Bobby De Vere. Hampson, Cornish, former London Irishman.
He's moving, no, he's moving, don't push it back in. Don't push him back into the right.
Farrell. Oh, what a line from Reed. The delay on the pass and the support running excellent. Driven forwards by Cutmore. Hampson goes wide and Ealing are in again. It's Cornish. It's glorious. And it might just head the way to their Premiership Cup final potentially.
Just these balls at the line from the forwards, these interplays. Geordie Reid coming off here, just accelerating straight through. Roots too wide. Again, just the offload on the inside to Cutmore. Just good rugby all round, recognising where the space is, recognising where there's chinks in defence. You go back down the short side there because everybody migrates towards the breakdown and folds around the corners to fill the wider part of the pitch. And no players are going to fill that hole in a simple pass and a walk in there to Cornish. But that interplay there, recognising another default in the Exeter defence.
Bottom corner there, Matt, can you see it?
Matt Cornish, prolific in the Championship. Notching try number 3 for Ealing, and they are just beginning to stretch out now. 8 points the difference, and maybe now 10.
Brilliant kick, really nicely taken try, but you watch the Exeter defence again. You watch Vermeulen come up and Roots is outside. Have a look at Vermeulen now, Roots. Roots is behind him, so Vermeulen flies up, but he's really the only one. So he leaves his mates behind. So there's a dog leg there, there's a big gap. It's too easy for Ealing. Really nicely finished. Great option from Hampson at 9.
Molina on the ball here for Exeter, who need a response, you feel, because the wind in Ealing sails at this stage. Capstick, head down towards the 22. Hawkins, oh dear, straight down the throat of Kernahan. I think what we're seeing here as well is a side in Ealing who are not used to losing.
They've been also the side of Exeter, pressure. These youngsters, how they're going to deal with pressure.
Got to remember the success, all the success that they're having week in, week out in the Championship. It's a side brimful of confidence.
Not yet, no.
Couple that with the opportunity on the bigger stage to compete against formerly Premiership and European champions. They're seizing their chance. Wyatt driven back in the tackle. Farah leading from the front. Good counter-ruck from Ealing. Taken in by De Vere. They look hungrier at the moment, Ealing. Bridge, Willis. And Wilson feeds Moore and Bird Tulloch. Hop and a skip and a backdoor offload that is sumptuous. Moore inside the 22. Ealing bringing all their tricks to bear now. Hampson feeds Kyle White, and Willis is taken, but it's come forwards from the Chiefs. Ealing retained possession.
Yeah, just got away with that a bit, didn't they, Ealing? Attacking really, really well. The last phase looked a little bit predictable. Great shot from Farah. Really enjoyed, of course, the Chiefs back row we know all about. Really enjoyed the work of the Ealing back row today. They've really put it about. Geordie Reid and Bridge as well. This was nice. They're keen to move it to space, and what you've got here is a guy that just thinks, well, I've got a bit of magic in Ruben Bird Tulloch, so I'm just going to get my arms through. Lovely, it's a little bit low, but nicely picked up from Francis Moore, another man who's had having a growing impact on the game, along with Hampson at 9. That was lovely, that, wasn't it?
No, just really impressed with Francis Moore this whole game. You have players with X Factor and have the star moments, but he's just been in and around everything, being the glue, making the pass at the right time, making the link plays, everything for them. You have players that have that factor that makes the line breaks, but you have to have a person like that is going to bring everybody together. I think he is Ealing's part. We talk about all the other players who have these moments, but I think he is a massive fixture of their back line and their attacking play, because he just brings them together. I've been really impressed with them today.
Yeah, the pair of them have been high quality, haven't they? Francis Moore and Ruben Bird Tulloch, both of them coming through the ranks at Saracens. And Alex Good did advise us that they have some star power in their ranks. We're seeing some of that this afternoon. The final, remember, either on Friday or on Sunday. If the scores remain as they are, Ealing will be taking on Bath at the Rec on Friday night. If Exeter come through, it'll be here on Sunday.
Timing's fine.
Hampson. He's taken out about 4 defenders with that pass. Here's Collins. Stop go, he's within 5 metres. Hampson is there again, and Ealing piling on the pressure. Kyle White on the carry. Hampson looks left, looks right, assesses all options. Here's Moore, tries to go through the middle. And a pile driver of a tackle from Frost, denying him that time. Allo.
Hold!
Cornish. Punch backwards. But Ealing patient here. Here's Farah. Keeps the leg drive going. Allo again, who's got through a mountain of carrying since arriving from the bench. Hampson, too much on that.
So even though it's a disappointing end to that attack, I don't think that's a massive sort of faux pas. Scrum or 22, they choose a 22, Ealing have the ball again. They're down to the right end of the pitch if they're trying to slow it all down.
That break down the left, Matt Paul, Brown Bampo there. Does he need to speculate? Does he step in too early? What's gone wrong?
Yeah, way too early. You've got that side, and you know that the way they should have recognised that they've always got the first receiver with their hands up, and there's a dummy, and it's going straight across that first page. You recognise that and say, right, let's be a little bit more passive on the edge and get him to a touchline.
Yeah, speculate a bit. Yeah. Hedge your bets. And other cliches.
It's not out.
Don't count your chickens, do you, when you're out there? It's the thing.
They have worked those 5-metre channels very effectively, though, Ealing. And the width of the Hampson pass is really striking, isn't it? Just getting the ball into space at every available turn.
No, let it go, Pink!
Toby Wilson drives beyond the 10-metre line. 10 points the difference. 20 minutes to play in a place in the Premiership Cup final at stake here this afternoon. Wyatt in the backfield. Kernahan ensuring he can go no further.
Well, you're 10 points up with 20 minutes to go. You don't shut up shop and park the bus, but it is worth playing as far away from your own try line as possible. So these options, one or two of the kicks haven't worked. This one was more effective, but Hampson is wise and Willis is wise. They're trying to play as much of the game as possible, exactly where they want to be. It's simple, but it's clever.
And that's the outcome. A poor kick-off for Exeter. You're back in the 22, you can rebuild, you set up a maul, you possibly get a penalty off that, free licence, do something to build the score. But like I said, with everybody's speculating before the end of War Boys starting, he hadn't started before. Maybe this was in their plan, to start high tempo, moving the ball, and at the end of a tight game, you bring on somebody like Willis, who has played at a level that goes, all right, I can sit back in my armchair and ping corners.
Come on, let's go.
And with Craig Willis on the field for Ealing, 2 new half-backs for the Chiefs in Niall Armstrong and Harvey Skinner. Come on for Cairns. And Cohen, and the ball is stolen, and they're racing away here, the Chiefs. Keast on the move. Armstrong couldn't get that to Roots, who was being held at the time, I think.
Silly option there to pass it to him there. Just put it on the foot race.
Knock on off black, so pink ball.
Chiefs in possession. But there again, the imposition of Roots and Vermeulen finding space for Keast.
Shifting. He was shifting, wasn't he?
Come forward. Yeah,
I mean, there is a school of thought that he should have given it to the quicker man sooner, Matt. But actually, you know, he probably was a bit surprised, terrified, panicking.
Enjoying himself.
Yeah.
Well, it's charges like that, it's surges like that just change the tempo of the game a little bit, and Chiefs can now occupy the space inside enemy territory for a while. A little bit of a regroup here won't be a bad thing necessarily for them, chasing the game. And need we repeat again, it's been a very, very tough campaign for them all round this season. The Premiership Cup has provided the light amongst the gloom, so awful lot resting on this for Exeter. Less than 20 minutes to pull it out of the fire.
Time on.
Bath waiting in the final after their victory last night against the Newcastle Falcons.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
Armstrong with the feed. It's gone down in the front row, but ref wants to see the ball used, and Tua cutting a nice angle, but competition on the ball didn't manage to affect the lift. Bridge, and Skinner releases Hodge, who hits the afterburners and maybe will get all the way. He's within 5.
So 22.
His Roots taking matters into his own hands. He knows what's on the line. One of the standout characters here this afternoon, Ethan Roots, putting the Chiefs back in the picture.
Dominant first carry straight off that scrum, then watching the backs come around, sweeping, keep the ball alive, move it to space. They're all aligned, they're all going to give it to Hodge in open space. You know what he's going to do, he's going to break lines, break tackles, and Roots is the man you want close to the line, keep momentum, seize the space, eyes for it, and slam dunk, boom.
Well, whether it's been carrying, tackling, or with his support lines, Ethan Roots has been everywhere today.
As soon as Josh Hodge found some space, nicely worked by Harvey Skinner at the back. As soon as he found space, you know that Ealing are in trouble. And can they get the numbers back to defend that breakdown? The answer is no. They just haven't got the legs to get there. Ethan Root's not unopposed, but half opposed, semi-opposed, dotting down. Hodge does the damage.
It's so hard for backs there. After you get a big dominant carry, the forwards have got to come even further around the back of that breakdown to get wide to back. So they're waiting for their forward to come in the corner, which they can't. So they've got to sit tighter and then edge them to the edge to make sure that they don't give easy shoulders like that. They'll be disappointed there, Ealing, with leaving those massive spaces, but they've got to recognise that on big carries from two gave Exeter there, they've got to compress it and just get them to the edge, otherwise those days will be all live. But I felt Exeter needed something in this next few minutes to really open it up and give them a chance coming in the last 15.
Okay, all good. Time
Just winding back a couple of plays, you think about the influence of Vermeulen and Roots at the line out that led to the Keast run up the touchline. Just seizing those moments, so important. And it's going to be about composure from this point on. They've just got the nerve to close the deal.
They've just done a brilliant job at that restart, Ealing, to get the ball back. Really well organised, really committed. And they're now causing Exeter problems. You're right, Al. Win or lose this game, we don't know yet. This is not a team used to losing. And the Exeter Chiefs team is not a team used to winning. It's a great line from Geordie Reid.
Another one. And Hampson's in there searching for it, having to squeeze the ball back. Oh, it's gone forwards in the process.
I think it was off the foot, and then the second one.
That's unfortunate from an Ealing perspective. I think they were building pretty effectively there.
Yeah, just on the
Reid's
line.
carry, Reid's angle was excellent.
Capstick there is, I know it's windy, it's blustery out there, but he's misjudged that, because really you want to get yourself in the air so that if anybody wants to compete with you, they risk colliding with you in the air, which they're not allowed to do. So as soon as you stay on the deck, you are vulnerable. Really good hustle from Ealing. Great line through the middle from Geordie Reid. Just fumbled things on the floor.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
Once again, Ealing attacking, but it's Chiefs scrum penalty, and Harvey Skinner wants to make up for lost time. Armstrong barreled over on halfway. Fizzelau fishes it out. Skinner, Frost. Heading for Bath next season, remember. Dan Frost lays it up, and back we come for the scrum penalty.
How nice is that from Harvey Skinner? Lovely that. It's almost like a blind pass inside. He knew somebody would be there. Lovely bit of skill.
Just squaring inside shoulder. As soon as the defender gets to the outside, he knows Nine's going to be tracking them there, but it's just nice to see Harvey Skinner. We're speaking about them having a bit of consistency. At 10 years ago, he was the one there building a few injuries for him, but it's good to see him running play. But we spoke earlier about the game opening up and how Tom Collins get the ball in. I think Exeter need to get the ball in Hodge's hands as much as they can. How can they get him? Do they swap him to 15 for a bit and put White on the wing just so he can counter and there be a few more touches on the ball?
Well, man on a mission, you feel. Harvey Skinner back today from a 3-game ban, and a man who's rather dropped off the Premiership map in terms of selection, left out by Rob Baxter after the early season performances. But what a stage he has here to force Exeter into the final potentially. Ealing off their feet at the ruck, and further chances presenting themselves here to the home side.
I'm just looking at the players talking. Do they go for the 3 points to make it 24 or do they go to the corner?
Well, Hodge has got the distance if he wants to have a pop, doesn't he? We know that much.
Great competition at the line out. Really good hustle from Ealing, but discipline. We'll go for posts.
Shot call, guys.
Discipline at the breakdown, not there. And Josh Hodge, he's got a lot more distance in him than this, isn't he?
Well, he's been kicking very, very well in this competition. 84% in the Premiership Cup. He's been a prodigious kicker of the ball since his early days at Newcastle. And this distance won't faze him at all. This is all about the accuracy and the temperament of the man. Hodge to tie things up at 24 points all. It's an almighty thump, but it's wide. Distance never the issue. Left of the posts, and Ealing retain their 3-point advantage. 12 minutes to play, all on the line.
All on the line, and Ealing's mission will be to do what they've done pretty well over the course of the match. Get out of here, get out of their third, get out of their half. So the drop kick is long, the chase is hard. This is where they want to be. Exeter want to launch something.
Fizzlau runs into B. Allo and lays it up for Armstrong. Tua back to the traffic, back to Frost. Fizzlau again.
Hold in front, hold in front.
Bampo eyes to the heavens, but Willis is there. Bampo times it well, clobbers his man, and the pink shirts go in search of the ball. It's there for Roots. Out it comes for Newland. Tua, an overlap here. Wyatt explodes into the space and over the line. Life in the Chiefs yet. 10 minutes to play. A final on the line. Wyatt with the score.
Wyatt with the score, but Paul Brown-Bambo take a bow. Fantastic chase, great shot. Back on his feet with Dan Frost. Disciplined, aggressive counter-up, turns the ball over. That's an excellent piece of work rate. And as soon as Wyatt gets this ball, all the chat about Josh Hodge, of course, wonderful player, but Tommy Wyatt, fabulous in a bit of space. He was never not scoring that. Great chase.
I just love that after that kick chase, that tackle, that they weren't lazy and they had to go steal the ball. They both just got back on their feet and blasted straight for that breakdown.
Oh, it's very good. It's very, very good from Hodge. A 4-point margin. Still plenty of work to do, but this was good. This was very, very good.
It was very, very good. Transition in turnover, super sharp. Ball got moved wide. They knew exactly where they wanted it. And he got a bit of space with Wyatt out there, with Hodge out there. Any team at this level is in trouble.
All right.
They've missed a knock-on there. They haven't missed
there's a knock-on, but there was also about 3 players 5 yards in front of the halfway line as the ball was kicked. Nevertheless, Ealing will have the ball from the Chiefs knock-on.
I think we now know that for the last 9 minutes, we know Ealing are going to just be going for everything. There's no time for 3 points in building a score, that they've got to chance it. They want to be against the big boys in the big league and prove that they can be in the league. Opportunities now. Who's going to stand up?
Keep your feet under.
Second half, Exeter's been a lot different to the first half.
We mentioned at the start of the match the shot window nature of this for so many of the Ealing players. Some of them will be knocking on the door of the Premiership potentially via the means of other clubs. They won't be seen in the Premiership Cup from here on in, on account of the Championship sides not taking place next season in this competition. Francis Moore is one of those who looks like he could thrive in the top flight.
Easy. Easy. Hampson as well. We know about him. Easy.
Here is Hampson. They're looking to work that channel again, that 15-metre channel if they can. Willis has really added something since arriving, but that pass, not one of his finest.
No, he has made a difference. That wasn't a great moment for him, but he has made a difference. Keen to move that ball. When he's had a bit of man and ball with Exeter Chiefs line speed coming up, he's still put those flat balls in front and caused a few problems. But this is the ambition. Matt was right. This is the ambition. They've got to show it in the last 5 or 10 minutes, so he's got to try something.
See two players go up on the mark, which is why we play away. I can't push because he's fine. If I get the opportunity, I'll come down.
Sorry, boys, he says.
Just been really, like, both teams at 10. If it was a tactical one for Ealing to take all boys off, put Willis on, it was the right decision for them at the time. George went really well in the first half, but Skinner coming on for Exeter really has made it exciting for them. It looks like the forwards have been given a bit more direction. Cohen's still at the start of his game, understanding it, but he's just giving them a bit more of a platform, and the ownership of I'm 10, you're going to go where I'm doing and do what I say.
Dan Frost for the Chiefs, sizing up the options. Franco Molina is the chosen one.
Okay, 17 out.
Armstrong has it. Here's Fizzle out. Tries to work the feet, but runs into a wall of Ealing defenders.
Use it.
See Harvey Skinner just bossing them, going down the short side, set up to the kick. What we said Exeter weren't doing in the first half. They were taking one or too many phases and exhausting themselves, exhausting the forwards. We said flat. He stopped them there, said we're going down the short side and with pressure straight back onto Ealing.
Riding that wind with the kick as well. Collins was underneath it. Here's Wilson. Bertulloch explodes infield. Tua comes back to make the tackle.
It's still in the hands.
It was not a knock on. Willis has to regather it. He's looking a little loose from Ealing. They know the clock is against them here. Bertulloch, Wilson, footwork exceptional.
Keep going, Dan.
See, for most of the game, we've seen Ealing just kick their way out of here, but they can't now. They've got to keep possession. Well, they won't kick unless they're forced.
Delay on the pass again. Wilson does well. Got the ball away nicely to Buckley. He's come on at hooker, and the Exeter Chiefs have the turnover. Dan Frost off the bench and proving pivotal.
That's the definition of what happens when you force it, when you've got to chase a game. You've got lads looking for offloads, look, running past the breakdown. What they actually need to do is resource the breakdown and secure the ball. So actually, Ruben Bertulloch, there was a lovely opportunity there if the ball had come off the floor. But you've got to secure the ball first. So sometimes when you're chasing a game, you just take your eye off the fundamentals, and that happens. Excellent turnover from Dan Frost.
Time is off, please, Andrew.
Time's off, yeah, but at the same time, there's still 6 minutes. They could have set up there, kicked it and put focus on the kick chase, the breakdown. They've won a lot of ball back off the box kicks. To go away from that, still with the amount of time still on the clock, is interesting. And now at Exeter, will they be as punishing now as they weren't in the first half in this area?
Time on.
Crowd finding their voice. The drums ringing in Dan Frost's ears. How much he would love to set up a final against his new club. Here at Sandy Park next Sunday, potentially. Opportunity to finish it.
Change your bite now.
Right here, camped inside the Ealing 22. Tua. Enough bodies at the breakdown. Armstrong fishes it out, and here's Roots again. Oh, the ball dislodged. And Ealing back in possession, still not out of it.
Still smiling.
Here's our mark, boys.
It's a really good shot, actually.
Just watching Jack Vermeulen drag everybody in. As well as all forwards give him a message. While you're looking at a few tired Ealing bodies scattered around.
Great to play with, wouldn't he, Jack Vermeulen?
Yeah. It's like when I played with you.
Yeah, exactly it, yeah. I've had my nose straightened since then, though.
I've lost a lot of weight.
Vibes are the same, Manners, I'm assuming.
He's a machine. Love watching
positive vibes.
Yeah, positive vibes.
Yeah, I let them
always looks like a man on a mission, and he will be intent on hauling his side across the finish line today on the occasion of his 100th appearance for the Exeter Chiefs. 6 times captain
I think really good
of the side this season. There's a little bit resting on him and his nous, his savvy, his leadership. Take a side that is not brimful of confidence right now, and instill them with that belief.
Yeah, we'll get them in and then up in time.
Just as we watch Tom Wyatt try the simplicity of just passing it inside shoulders, not taking it all the way to the line, and just respecting the space out there and getting it to the ball and the dangerous runners. He's had a good game, Wyatt, at the back.
So the clock very much not Ealing's friend at this point. 4 odd minutes to pull this out of the fire. Scrum inside their 22. Chiefs under pressure, and it's Marcus Street who's popped up. It's there for Hampson. Oh, look at the width. Look at that ball. And Collins is working the feet. Chiefs celebrating. Graham Bampo again in the thick of things. A critical turnover at a crucial moment.
You just felt when Tom Collins, it was a brilliant option and pass from Hampson, great idea. Sets Collins away ultimately. But you just feel like when he stepped inside here, Graham Bampo got a dominant hit and then he was in trouble. He got put on his back. Was there a release there? Are we seeing daylight before the attempted jackal? Borderline, marginal, whatever the word is, tight.
Same as we said, Toby Wilson was running an offload line there on Tom Collins, and then it's another person out the breakdown, which gives the opportunity. Graham Bampo could have been the devil there, flying out the line, giving the ball over the top. They could have kicked it long and chased it. The decision was to carry, and he got the turnover.
I guess the other benefit, of course, from a Rob Baxter perspective is that he'd stepped so far in, he had so much ground to make up, but to see a man run back, make the challenge, make the shot, effect the jackal, that's what you want to see from all of your players, and it set up this field position, although the line out has not gone to Exeter's plan. And here is Bird Tulloch for Ealing. 3 minutes left. Michael Dykes is on, wearing 23 for Ealing now. He's come on for Angus Kernahan.
If you're going to get out of here, your passing's got to be outstanding, and that when you got Ruben Bird Tulloch a couple of phases ago taking some lazy lob passes, taking all the momentum out of them.
Not the way they need to play.
Yeah.
Wow, that was desperate.
Fanners is right, it's not how you do it. So we're talking about the resourcing of breakdowns. It's a couple now where they've been turned over because lads are looking for miracle offloads. We've got to score a try, lads. It's like in a boxing match, I'd imagine. It's easy to shout from the sidelines, you've got to knock him out, but you've got to prepare things, you've got to work towards it, you've got to manipulate things, and you've got to not forget your fundamentals.
Yeah, there's different ways of winning the ball back, there's different ways of getting out the pitch, from the kick chase to the first breakdown, to have a really aggressive line speed once the opposition get the ball and win it back like that at the breakdown. But giving up a source of possession this close line, I'm expecting Exeter, years gone by, this is the best, they're the best team in this area, and they'll probably be aiming to get back to that. But if they score another 7 points here and it becomes 35-24, it doesn't give an honest reflection of the game because of that one error. But you can't fault them. They're trying to shift the ball, they're trying to go 75-80 metres up the pitch to score, but a really good account of themselves, and they've got 2.5 minutes. They could scrum well and get a penalty here and go all the way up the pitch, but it's not what we're looking for there from Willis to put his team under pressure.
So this game in Exeter's hands firmly at this point. 2 minutes. And a scrum 7 metres away from the Ealing try line. Can they take the tension out of the equation? Can they give the fans what they want? A clean finish. Ealing, though, causing all kinds of trouble at the scrum, as they have for much of the afternoon.
Just felt like it's the right call. Exeter Chiefs didn't need to do that. They were nice and solid in a nice spot. They just started to crab left, spin around, the judge to have pulled it round on the tight head side. It's a let off for Ealing. That kick is fine. It's safe, it's fine, but it gives them an awful lot of work to do.
Yeah, it's no more than fine, really.
Well, I'll stick up from there, because from the middle of the pitch under your post, it's really hard to kick it a long way.
Yeah, but it's his job, isn't it? So. I know it is.
They've got to find an awful lot of metres from here. Geordie Reed's done the first part. Here's Willis. Moore in the midfield. Michael Dykes hiding himself. Oh, the touch of the fingers. The touch of the fingers from Toby Wilson.
The pass.
Forwards from Ealing, and that might be their final shot.
The pass wasn't right. It was too far forwards. Wilson, easy to say now, he needed to leave it. He needed to let it bounce. The play might have broken down. He couldn't resist it. I think it probably isn't his fault. We're not talking about fault, but the pass was too far in front.
Yeah, Joe Hawkins jumping out of line in Exeter defence, giving them that opportunity out there. But we talk about basic skills. Basic skills, final 5-10 minutes of what sets winning teams away from losing teams. 2 errors here for Ealing.
Let's go, Exeter.
Giving last 20 seconds to Exeter.
Yeah, let's go.
Well, they've battled so hard. They have edged various different elements of this game for long periods. Well, they've shown their class. They've shown an awful lot this afternoon, but Chiefs have this within their grasp now. Clock in the Reds, possession at the scrum. It's a messy affair, but it'll do. Chiefs have it into the final. They'll play Bath here. And Ealing's brave challenge in the Premiership Cup is at an end. Exeter at various moments outplayed this afternoon, but they've shown a resilience and a cussed spirit. And in a difficult season, they've made it into a final. Full time, Exeter 28, Ealing 24. Time for your player of the match, Flats.
Player of the match for me, reasonably. Well, it could have been him, it could have been Jack Vermeulen. He's always fantastic, and it's his 100th. But for me, the player who summed up what Chiefs have produced better than anyone else today is that man, Ethan Roots. He's our Premiership Rugby Cup player of the match. I just think he's made a few mistakes. Sure, knocked a couple of balls on, but he's smiled. He's hit hard. He's grafted and grafted. I don't think Exeter Chiefs are anywhere near their best, whatever their best is this season. They weren't near it, but they fought, and I think no one fights harder than someone like Ethan Roots on a day like this. For today, Chiefs it was all about just getting it done. Just find a way. They'll play Bath. A lot, I think, will depend on what sort of team Bath pick next week. If they go full chat, I don't think Chiefs live with them. If they don't, and they pick the majority of the players that have got them to the final, they get a chance.
Matt, a word on Ealing?
Yeah, I think they can be very proud of what they've done. They've achieved. They've wanted to put a marker in the sand and show what they can do. And I think they'll be disappointed of how the game turned out. But I think the substitutions that Ealing brought on the pitch in the second half really did change it for them. Harvey Skinner, Streets, Dan Frost, with big moments, turnovers, where to play on the pitch in the right areas. I thought that's what changed it for Exeter. But Ealing, I thought some of their boys were outstanding. They defended with their heart on their sleeve at the thing and really stopped Ealing building momentum at the start. But yeah, fantastic performances by a lot of them, man. I couldn't pick anybody out in their team, but I think Francis Moore, for me, just the linchpin in that back line was a fantastic. And like I said, they'll be disappointed, but people are now talking about them. 28-24 against a team that is not dead bottom in the Prem, and can win games. They're showing up, and they're playing well, and it's great to see that teams in the league below are now competing.